Look, I'm exhausted. Had it all figured out and I lost it. They say that's the cost, but it just feels like a lot. Stop, are you going or not? I miss certainty. Miss the 9 to 5s, knowing exactly where I need to be and why I'm not built for this. Progress moves in slow motion. They're out making money and getting promotions, saying all the right things, pulling all the right levers, while I sit here, write my future self love letters. Who's winning? Is this the end or beginning? 'Cause I'm starting to feel like reality's slipping, and bank accounts, they aren't very forgiving, and life on edge feels like falling, not living. If effort brings victory, what am I missing? Nothing good comes easy. When we have to, we push through, not knowing completely. You're here because you're made for this next level, taking these places that most people won't. Start embracing it. Who cares what they do? They're not you. You'll go through more now than you think you're supposed to, but that shows you can cope with the highs and the lows, because you rose to be more. Could've run away, could've avoided the thorns, could've been comfortable. Blood, sweat, and tears, they're expendable. No more pretending, man, build something memorable. Don't drink from their cup or by stories they tell, because when all their time's up, you'll have dug your own well. You did it. Use lifelines, you're topped off for a lifetime, so drop all those one-liners. We'll get them next time. No, this time is your time, and whatever you decide will end up being real life. No stop signs, just storylines. This whole thing is a misunderstanding, a miscalculation. Jumped and missed the landing. I'm mystified. I can waste so much time. These ovations are strictly imagination, not standing. So much for planning. Guess fate left without me. Those failure statistics, yeah, they'll be about me. Was overly optimistic, forgot the logistics. Guess we all learn sometime, don't we? Good is not good enough. No, how long do I stay down before I let go? I buried my pride and took it inside, but never enough. It takes a toll, it gets old getting told you've got miles of road left to go. You're alone with this future unknown. Just go home. Just go home, it's safe there. Yeah, I'll find some embrace there. Look, it's time to admit defeat, a humble retreat. Check the box and complete to my core. Intrinsically, it's not for me. I can't do this. I knew this is how it would be. No fame, no fortune, no names on marquees, just running in place every day on repeat. This is the world I want to see, where everything's taken with no guarantees. No. Come on, man, pick your head up. Go back inside. Half a life's learning to get up. How can I make you see that you have everything you need, and what you want to be is never out of reach? Fate deceives sometimes, but destiny's calling, so can't let the phone ring. You know there's no all-knowing. Go level up, no letdowns. Let the world in, push fear out. It's self-belief. It starts right now. When hell freezes, you lay down. Until then, it's your town. It's your story, it's your crown. Live in the clouds, feet on the ground. They stand still, you run around. Go mesmerize, so they socialize. There's dollar signs to be maximized. If you live it right, regret nothing. Loud applause, the sweetest sounding. This moment won't happen again, and never becomes forever unless you choose to begin. So see greatness in each step, and power and progress. Your future, yeah, that's limitless, it's infinite. Don't forget you want this. Look, I'm exhausted. Had it all figured out and I lost it. They say that's the cost, but it just feels like a lot. Stop, are you going or not? I miss certainty. Miss the 9 to 5s, knowing exactly where I need to be and why I'm not built for this. Progress moves in slow motion. They're out making money and getting promotions, saying all the right things, pulling all the right levers, while I sit here, write my future self love letters. Who's winning? Is this the end or beginning? 'Cause I'm starting to feel like reality's slipping, and bank accounts, they aren't very forgiving, and life on edge feels like falling, not living. If effort brings victory, what am I missing? Nothing good comes easy. When we have to, we push through, not knowing completely. You're here because you're made for this next level, taking these places that most people won't. Start embracing it. Who cares what they do? They're not you. You'll go through more now than you think you're supposed to, but that shows you can cope with the highs and the lows, because you rose to be more. Could've run away, could've avoided the thorns, could've been comfortable. Blood, sweat, and tears, they're expendable. No more pretending, man, build something memorable. Don't drink from their cup or by stories they tell, 'cause when all their time's up, you'll have dug your own well. You did it. Use lifelines, you're topped off for a lifetime. So drop all those one-liners, we'll get them next time. No, this time is your time, and whatever you decide will end up being real life. No stop signs, just storylines. This whole thing is a misunderstanding, a miscalculation. Jumped and missed the landing. I'm mystified, I can waste so much time. These ovations are strictly imagination, not standing. So much for planning, guess fate left without me. Those failure statistics, yeah, they'll be about me. Was overly optimistic, forgot the logistics. Guess we all learn sometime, don't we? Good is not good enough. No, how long do I stay down before I let go? I buried my pride and took it inside, but never enough. It takes a toll, it gets old getting told you've got miles of road left to go. You're alone with this future unknown, just go home. Just go home, it's safe there. Yeah, I'll find some embrace there. Look, it's time to admit defeat, a humble retreat. Check the box and complete to my core. Intrinsically, it's not for me, I can't do this. I knew this is how it would be. No fame, no fortune, no names on marquees, just running in place every day on repeat. This is the world I want to see, where everything's taken with no guarantees. No, come on man, pick your head up. Go back inside, half a life's learning to get up. How can I make you see that you have everything you need, and what you want to be is never out of reach? Fate deceives sometimes, but destiny's calling, so can't let the phone ring. You know there's no all-knowing. Go level up, no letdowns. Let the world in, push fear out. It's self-belief, it starts right now. When hell freezes, you lay down. But until then, it's your town, it's your story, it's your crown. Live in the clouds, feet on the ground. They stand still, you run around. Go mesmerize, or they socialize. There's dollar signs to be maximized. If you live it right, regret nothing. Loud applause, the sweetest sound. And this moment won't happen again, and never becomes forever unless you choose to begin. So see greatness in each step, and power and progress. Your future, yeah, that's limitless, it's infinite. Don't forget you want this.
I was in January 2020. The Lord began to show me something over there. I moved to February, March, April, May, June, July. I went to August, September, October.
Oh yes.
November.
Oh yes.
December 2020.
Oh yes.
I looked the whole year.
Oh yes.
It's gonna be a great year.
The champ is here. 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 The champ.
It's gonna be a great year. Good afternoon and welcome to Boomwalker's Talk Show. This is your host Rian Option. Please, people, no offense on Pastor Bushiri. It's just that description was just the best. That image and also this one.
I was in January 2020. The Lord began to show me something over there. I moved to February, March, April, May, June, July. I went to August, September, October.
Oh yes.
November.
Oh yes.
December 2020.
Oh yes.
I looked the whole year.
Oh yes.
It's gonna be a great year.
You just can't stop that. It's definitely gonna be a great year. But obviously there will be a lot of conflict in the world. But for you as trader, it will definitely be a good year. Like last Friday, for example, I was actually saying that the dollar will definitely go up, and the King dollar is coming back, and which it did. It did have a bit of a down spike, but then it reversed backwards, and then that's what normally happens if you have bad unemployment data out of the United States, or employment data, or normally a NFP number that comes out bad, and then normally it reverses later on back. So the dollar is actually getting stronger. There's reasons for that. Obviously, if the labor market is going down, then normally that leads to lower wages, and then later on it leads to deflation. And obviously, when there's deflation, it means that specific thing becomes scarce, or and obviously that creates value, and that's why the dollar actually will gain value. Now, to make my philosophy very simple, I will try to keep this podcast in approximately 20 minutes for you. But my trading philosophy is very, very simple. Now, I'm sure you guys know that I talk a lot about the United States. I actually invest quite a lot of time on the United States, reading data out of the United States, and also follow their politics and all of those things. Because the main reason I looked at the dollar. Now, this is actually the magic trick of my trading philosophy. I looked at the dollar mainly. Now, the dollar affects a lot of things. One currency. I'm not looking at the euro, the British pound, and all of those things. I look at one currency and one country, and that is the United States. Now, we all know if the United States or the US dollar goes up in value, it gets stronger, then what normally happens, this is now first on your commodities, the commodities go down, like your gold, your oil, your copper. Look, all commodities go down if the dollar goes up. Now, that is why I'm investing so much time on the dollar, because only that one thing moves everything. So why must I spend my time now in New Zealand, Australia, China, and all of those nonsense? Yeah, China I do pay attention to, but I can't trust the data because it's normally nonsense, just like COVID. So that's why I spend my time with the dollar, the United States, and the presidents and the politics that going on there. That is the magic trick. Obviously, also, if you look at the dollar, for example, if the dollar goes up, then normally your stock indexes, your Dow Jones, your Nasdaq, your S&P 500 goes down if the dollar goes up. And that is not just for United States, but across the world. So which means the FTSE 100 goes down, the JSE goes down, or actually a hell break loose when the dollar gets stronger. Also in the same breath, now if the dollar gets stronger, then normally countries, for example, battles a lot, they struggles a lot. For example, if the dollar goes up, there's a lot of countries, a lot of countries, if not all the countries, have a lot of dollar-denominated debt. So which means their debt become expensive. And when their debt become expensive, that is where countries get bankrupt. Like, for example, South Africa don't have much dollar-denominated debt. Now recently also with the IMF, they're starting to get some dollar debt in. But normally Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and all of those countries, normally when the dollar goes up, then it's very difficult for them to pay their debt back because their currency is getting weaker and the dollar is stronger. So it makes it difficult on a strong dollar. Then normally you see chaos that is coming. Now, with all the evidence that I packed in, what I explained to you last week, it looks like for me the dollar is coming back strongly. Even with that bad NFP number, what normally happens if you have bad data out of the United States, all the data normally is bad, and normally it starts with the NFP. If the NFP data is bad, then obviously you can, from there on, you know precisely inflation will be bad, and then after inflation, you will get retail sales that be bad, and when retail sales are bad, you get a bad GDP. So that is what normal economics is. It normally has a chain reaction, and you just have to look at the dollar. Once the dollar is going up, then that is normally the effects. And when the US economy is not doing well, then the rest of the world is not doing well. So a strong dollar is not good for global economy and also not for the United States itself. The dollar behaves in the opposite direction of the United States. So a lot of people think if you have good data out of the United States, if you get good data of the United States, then people think that the dollar goes up. No, it goes in the opposite direction. The moment the dollar actually, the moment the US produce bad data, the dollar gets stronger. Now, a lot of people, it's very difficult. People understand it, but it's very difficult to accept. Now, the thing is, with the Federal Reserve and the US government, they try now for years, and a lot of people ask me this, but listen here, the Federal Reserve is printing a lot of money, and that is dangerous for the dollar. The dollar is going to lapse, blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. I heard that stories since 2008, 2009, 2010, all over. Yes, I know the Federal Reserve is printing money, but they've been printing money now for over 10 years. Absolutely fuck all happened with the dollar. Nothing. Zero. The dollar just gets stronger. Now, the main thing is, and I wrote a blog regarding this, when you actually suppress something. When you suppress something, and which they do with the dollar, they try to suppress the dollar by printing money to get the dollar weaker. You can't suppress something, then you normally will have other consequences. For example, if you print money in Zimbabwe, if you print money now, in the case of Zimbabwe, then you get chaos. Look, it's still messed up until today. The same applies to Venezuela. Now, in the dollar's instance, if they print money in the United States, yes, they will get the dollar a bit down. So they push money into the system, try people to motivate people, I would say. With low interest rates, people need to spend the money and all of those things. Now, people are not blocks of wood. That is what economists don't want to get in their bloody brains, is that people are not blocks of wood. You can't think that you do this, then you will get that result. You normally get the opposite result. For example, they cut the interest rates, print money. They had unlimited QE. Absolutely nothing happened so far. Unlimited QE. Try to suppress the dollar temporarily. It worked. But what happens now? You will get the resurgence of the dollar because you can print money, you can cut interest rates unto zero. It does not mean that people will go to the bank, they take money, take a loan, and bloody spend it. No. Most of the people lost jobs in the United States. Over a vast majority of people lost jobs in the United States, and it will continue now. Businesses are not doing well. Businesses are closing down due to this nonsense regulations. So the people are unemployed. So how the hell do you think they will get a loan in the first place? So the US is getting smarter now. They actually now giving people direct checks. That will still not do nothing because it's temporarily. People have temporary money, $2,000 in their pockets. So what about next month? Fuck all. So it means absolutely fuck all that you give people money. What you need to do, you need to actually produce a good economy so that people can basically spend, so that people can work for their money and spend it. And that you will have a longer sustainable economy. Not giving people $2,000 and that's it, finish and clear. They can give the money actually every month for the people of the United States, but then you have fucking other problems. Then you have unproductive society, you will get gangsterism, you will get wars because people have fuck all to do. So what they will do? Shit. So what you must do is leave the economy on its own. And that's why I say it's very simple. If you look at the US dollar, if you are a trader, look at the US dollar, study the US economy, because that dollar is so powerful, it can mess up the whole entire world, or it can bring freedom to a lot of people across the world. For example, if the dollar is weak, you get commodities going up. You have countries like Australia, New Zealand, South Africa that prosper out of the weaker dollar because we can take up debt for cheaper because the dollar is cheaper. We can, for example, the commodities are going up, so the mining are making profits. It's also good to import stuff from the United States and sell it to the people to the United States, all that because the dollar is cheap. So a weak dollar is actually good for the global economy, but a strong dollar has some serious consequences, and a strong dollar normally thrives from a weak U.S. economy, and which is actually the problem now. There is so much problems that goes on. One is Joe Biden knows absolutely fuck all of economics, so he's there. That is the first problem. You have a very far left organization now that rules the United States that will now give a flood of money to people for free. That we all know that will not work. You will have different consequences for that. So that's why I'm saying this year is going to be a bloody of a blast over here. Only thing that you need to know, one, is to get my book, The Ultimate Depression. That you will see that whole entire story there that I explained. Your Dow Jones, your commodities that will go down, the dollar will go stronger. Excuse me. All of those things is there in The Ultimate Depression. And the most important thing is also, and one thing that I start to realize now with this bastards, I would say the Democrats that are now in charge there, is that I'm a bit afraid of Bitcoin. I'm not saying you must sell your Bitcoins or throw it away or all of those things. But I was reading an article last Friday. And the thing is that, one, they try now to regulate Bitcoin, which is basically for me is impossible. They try to regulate Bitcoin because obviously countries across the world need taxes. They need taxes and they don't understand Bitcoin. It's very difficult I don't think it's even possible to regulate Bitcoin. But they try to write laws so that people can pay taxes in a form of Bitcoin, which I don't think that will work. And the thing is now, what I know what they will do is try to crack down what they do with social media now, is try to actually to go after these organizations, or I would say banking ways. So they will try and crack it down, or they will try and write laws so that Bitcoin can collapse, so that the money itself, the dollars and the rands and the Australian dollars, can become the norm, so that they can tax the citizens on profits, because they don't know how to tax Bitcoin. And I see the governments are getting desperate because a lot of people are flooding to Bitcoin. They try now to regulate Bitcoin, or they will try and regulate Bitcoin so that they can have their tax dollars, because governments across the world are actually broke, and a lot of people are running to Bitcoin now to store their money because of all the chaos that is currently happening in here. I'm actually very happy for people that bought Bitcoin, because I'm surely you made quite a lot of money. But for the government, they want now that money. They want to tax it, but it is impossible. So now they're trying to write banking laws, which doesn't make sense. It will affect everybody. It will affect normally the small guy. What I can say, the banks, for example, they will affect, I will not say they will affect the big banks, but they will affect the smaller community banks, like VBS. Okay, VBS is gone. But your smaller banks, your mutual banks and those type of things, it will affect it. It will even affect the small brokers, forex brokers or whatever brokers. They will start to affect them because they're writing so much regulation. You see the big companies, for example, FTXM, which I actually have the link also on this podcast below. It will not affect those big companies because they can absorb, they can employ lawyers to go through all that nonsense regulations and absorb that pressure. But your small guy will not be able to actually to absorb that stuff. That is where the nonsense come in. And then the small guys is going to trade illegally. And when they trade illegally, then it happens to the problem of where it comes into they're going to crack you down just because you are illegal. But the main thing is, it's not that you are illegal. Yeah, you are illegal, but it is difficult to trade or to start your business or to be a broker if you have all that, if the government is actually imposing all that regulation. So that's why I have a link of FXTM on for you, because they are a big organization, well respected across the world, and I do trust them. I've been using them now since 2016. So they are a big organization. They can absorb all the pressure. Only thing that I do it for now for you is to actually so that you know that you have a broker that can absorb this pressure. And that is actually the main thing of these banks that writing now regulation. I would say the government is writing all these laws to squeeze out the small guys and have all these big monopolies, I would say. I know it's wrong with with the big companies now have the monopoly. But the thing is that we are here for is just to make money. And my job is also to have so that you can have the best choice at the end of the day. So that's why I have that link on of FXTM there, and also I have the link of my book, The Ultimate Depressor, so that you can prepare yourself, because definitely this year is definitely going to be a great year. It's going to be a blast of a year, because I can tell you now, the shit for NASDAQ is going to crack, because the people are totally fed up with all that tech companies. Once the people have spoken and move from one app to the next app or to next place to the other place, then you will start to see cracks in Facebook. And believe me, if Facebook go down, it will take quite a lot of the NASDAQ down. Also your Microsoft and also your Apple stocks will also find a beating, because people will start to scale down because they are tired of supporting these big bloody fat cows. And they just want to do everything that they like. So you must be prepared for the NASDAQ. And I can see the VIX is also jumping in the green. Also on the other side, the Dow Jones, those of you who like to trade with the Dow Jones, oil stocks are going down, gold is going down, or all your commodities are going down because of the stronger dollar. And that will definitely push up the dollar and push down the Dow Jones. Also, the other problem is the impeachment of Donald Trump. That is the other thing, because they will stoke fire. I will not say, they literally throw a bloody gallon of oil or barrel of oil over a bloody fire if they try to impeach. And it looks like they will. They will impeach Donald Trump, and that will push everything out of order. And that will cause civil unrest in the United States, especially from the conservatives, or I would say from the right-wing people, as they say on the news. That will definitely create chaos. So if they create chaos, you will get a stronger dollar. And it's not that Donald Trump is going to give up. They can do whatever they like. They can do whatever they like. That guy will fight and fight and fight and fight. And the people will definitely be behind him, because who else listens to them? I actually wrote a blog that I will post on earlier about why social media that is to be blamed for this nonsense. But you can read the blog later on. But if you try to suppress something, I always say with Newton's law, it's so simple. For every action, there's an equal or far worse actually reaction that you will get. As simple as that. So if you try to silence the people, people's going to ask questions. And people's going to get angry because they don't get heard. And then when they get angry, you will get civil unrest. The media and social media is the huge responsibility. They must take all the responsibility for what is actually happening in the United States. Not just in the United States, but across the world as well. And it will get messy. That I can tell now. It will get messy. But one thing for sure, as the famous saying goes, when there's blood on the street, you must definitely invest. And that is exactly what you must do. So get your proper platform going. Get my book, The Ultimate Depression, and read my blog that I will post later on. But I can tell you now, we can get a very strong dollar. And I can tell you now, stocks indexes across the world will definitely start to go down. That includes also commodities. So have a blast of trading today. I can tell you now, the dollar will push on further. And you must watch out on the VIX, because the VIX will get stronger. Your NASDAQ and all that other stocks will definitely come down. So that is it from my side on the Monday. It will definitely be a great year.
I was in January 2020. The Lord began to show me something over there. I moved to February, March, April, May, June, July. I went to August, September, October.
Oh, yes.
November.
Oh, yes.
December 2020.
Oh, yes.
I looked the whole year.
Oh, yes.
It's gonna be a great year.